Welcome back. In the last video, we talked about proportional figure drawing and we reviewed the mannequin. We reviewed how to take a photograph and kind of redraw the portions of the body over a photograph. And then we talked about flipping that over and redrawing those different portions, drawing the structure first and the bones and putting the bones in, and then drawing the different sections of each piece. And in this lesson we said you're going to find another picture. Here's our break dancer. The ground is like right here and he's doing a handstand on the ground. So here's our break dancer, and we're going to redraw him using the same kind of concept onto this blank sheet of paper. So to get started with that, let me just make this a little bit taller so we can see both pieces of paper. You are going to put your name on your paper. My name is Mr. Lundgren. You put your name and then put your section. Let's say this is 7B. Okay? Then these are the things you are working on. You're going to start with, number one, the envelope. Two, you are going to do the structure. This will include, underneath the heading of proportion, you want to make sure you have the bones, the joints, and the sections. Number three, you'll go back over everything and do contour line. And then after that, you'll add value for the form. Okay, so we flip our paper over now. We've got those things in place. You're going to start with your envelope. Now, see if I can kind of arrange this guy over here. Okay, if I look at the envelope, I'm going to have one at his knee, his heel, his fingers, his head, base of his hand, and back up at his knee. You should have no less than 5, no more than 7. So here's his knee, going over to his heel, down to his fingertips, down to his head, and then down to his hand, and back up to his knee. Okay, so here is my envelope. Alright, so if there's my envelope that he's going to eventually fit into, that's what we want. Now, of course you're not tracing this because we want to make sure that you're actually learning how to look at this and see it rather than doing a tracing job here. So his head, approximately right there. His spine coming here and curving to his tailbone about there. And then getting that first structure in, we say, well, here's his shoulder, and here's his other shoulder, here's his elbow, and here's his wrist, here's his other elbow, and here's his wrist, here's his hip right above his head, here's his other hip, here's his knee, here's his ankle, here's his other knee, and here's his ankle. And now we've got those joints kind of in. We've kind of placed it around. All right. Now if we go back and put in bones, we've got shoulder to shoulder. We've got his shoulder to his elbow, elbow to his wrist, and his hand is on the ground like that. We've got shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, and his hand is like right here. Okay, we've got hip to knee, knee to ankle, and we've got his foot there. We've got hip to knee, knee to ankle, and ankle to foot right there. Okay, now we put in the sections of his body, and we've got his torso, which is going to be this shape here. We've got his pelvis up here. And then we have the abdomen kind of right there. Then we go back and we start looking at the other sections. We've got his shoulder and his like bicep area here. He's got his forearm area there. Okay, his shoulder arm area here. He's got his forearm area there. He's got his thigh and his shin and his foot. Then he's got his thigh. He's got his shin, his foot. Okay, so there you can see just by putting that stuff in, we've been able to kind of dissect his different body parts in the sense of getting his structure, the proportion, the bones, the joints, and everything kind of in the right place. Now we would go back with our contour line. So if we look in here, we can say, well, his neck comes down here and meets with his shoulder. His bicep is going to come out there. He's got his bulge for the shirt there, and his shirt comes down here, and he's got his wrist, and then he's got a little bump over here for his hand. His hand comes in, down, and his fingers are more flat like that. And his elbow comes up this way. He's got a little fold of fabric. Then his shirt bulges out this way. His shirt bulges out this way and up to here where it kind of crinkles across. And if I were to go back now and kind of gently erase the interior workings of his mechanical robot-like body, you can see how that looks a little bit more natural. Now if his pant leg comes up this way, he's got like a pocket on here. The knee goes over the top edge and comes down, and the fabric kind of lays over there, and he's got his shoe, which goes like that, and the interior pant leg goes up this way. And this baggy pant style comes up here. We got like a fold. Okay, and if I were to go back and get this shirt here, the shirt comes over up like that, around for the arm, and then comes from his nose up here for his shoulder. And I'm kind of just following the contour line around with my eye. Now if I were to take all of this interior stuff again, erase it, you can see that contour line becomes the outline. Rather than starting with the outline, we've put in that body shape first to give us some structure of how it should all flow together. Finish his ankle and his boot up here. His ankle, and sorry, not boot, like a shoe. Okay, now we've got his hat. His nose. His chin. So now we've got that drawing in there. You can still see the way that he's got the pant legs, and if I started to shade this in to bring the value up, say, well, this piece is really dark, and knowing what I know about value, this would be, even though it's a black shirt, be a little lighter up there, it would be darker underneath here. I could start giving it some value. And I could fill some of this value in to give it the feel of fabric folds. Okay, so I've done the contour line, I've gone back with some value and made a pretty reasonable drawing based on the way that we've learned how to draw this. Now, this is a pretty quick sketch, but this is a way that we can learn to put together a gesture drawing of an actual person once we get into class, because we're going to follow that same procedure of the envelope, the structure, the contour line, and the value as we move through our actual figure drawing. So when you're done, you're going to turn in those three things. You're going to turn in your beginning picture with your name at the top. You're going to turn in your second photograph that you're working from visually, and your final drawing that is not traced. And you can leave the envelope on like that. And that finishes how to practice and redraw a figure drawing with the structure of envelope, structure, contour line, and value.